No financial advice being given, ladies and gentlemen, but the Disney stock is dropping. And why might it be rocking low numbers with a new CEO, Josh Morrow? Well, let's just say an earthquake, a tsunami, perhaps a supersonic tsunami just landed on them. And the Sora deal, their entire AI strategy has gone down the tubes. The Hollywood Reporter is reporting this. Steven Zaitchik, David Katz, and Julian Sancton writing it, because you got to have three for a level of this big. A Cat 5 for the Walt Disney Company. The Sora Disney collapse. What does it mean? Three Hollywood Reporter editors debate the biggest tech news this year. Here's what you need to know. Disney had gotten in bed, metaphorically, with Sam Altman over at OpenAI, ChatGPT, to use Sora to put individual content creator generated AI stuff into Disney Plus. In other words, they were to have people all over America and the world create stuff with Disney characters, and then it go into Disney Plus, and the people were probably not going to get paid anything, but Disney was going to make money off of it. Full AI vertical integration, Sora in Disney Plus, and that got mussed up real bad. In fact, you might say it got Elon musked up real bad, because, and I predicted this back when this announcement happened. I said, I don't think this was the right pick. I don't think this is the right partner. It turns out that Sora is being shut down, and Disney was caught completely off guard about this. We'll read the Hollywood Reporter article in just a second, but let's go to Scott Gustin, who reports this. Update. The team at Disney was working with OpenAI's Sora team as recently as the night before the announcement, when Disney was told its partner was pivoting strategy. According to Reuters and reporting by Don C331, says the Disney Sora deal is dead. In a statement, Disney says, as the nascent AI field advances rapidly, we respect OpenAI's decision to exit the video generation business and to shift its priorities elsewhere. What happened is Elon Musk and his Grok AI system, powered by the Colossus supercomputer in Memphis, Tennessee, Elon Musk out of nowhere blew ChatGPT out of the water in terms of video gen and image gen. And suddenly the only two players in town really are Elon Musk and Google when it comes to this sort of thing. And OpenAI and Sam Altman was so badly beaten that they had to completely jump out of this. And now Disney, but remember, Bob Iger, they bet $1 billion on this. They bet the entire Disney Plus strategy on this. It's over. It's over. And listen, the Hollywood Reporter's not going to talk about this, okay? But I'll tell you about it. You better believe every other studio has been working on an AI strategy behind the scenes with their partners. You better believe they're working on licensing their brands. Disney now has no AI partner around. Culture, I want to go to you first on this, but Disney has, I don't know how far this sets them back, but they are so far behind. And Disney Plus now has like the whole vertical integration. This was already being rolled out. And it's not that they're set back by months. They have nothing, Culture.
Yeah,
they're nothing now.
They're back to the drawing board. And look, I mean, all of these entertainment companies need a partner. We've been seeing them, partner up for quite some time, deals negotiated in back rooms and all of that. And I think that this is more disastrous for Disney because they were so invested in it for so long. And going out there and maybe trying to partner with Anthropic for Claude or somebody else is beginning from square one all over again. I mean, Ellison has the biggest data set, obviously with Oracle. So, but he just is acquiring studios left and right. So, are you going to work with your competition, which has always been an issue for anybody that was in that chair, is working with the competition. I mean, remember what a struggle it was just to get Roger Rabbit taken care of and filmed because they had to acquire permission to use characters that just crossed over. It's just it's like herding cats, and when you start from ground zero all over again after significant investment, it's a problem. But I mean, again, they're behind the eight ball in so many different areas at Disney. I don't know what is it going to take for them to catch up. I can't even speculate at this point.
$1 billion investment, and the thing that this told investors we're going to be okay. Folks, you cannot like AI. We'll talk about that again in 6 months for those who still, think. And I know why some people really don't like AI. I'm not trying to make anybody angry with this, but Wall Street and the studios, they all know they have to do this. There's no way out of it. And Disney bet $1 billion on a dead horse. Disney bet $1 billion on a dead horse.
Yeah.
Here's the reaction from Hollywood. David Katz says this from a Disney perspective. I'm thinking of new CEO Josh D'Amaro and what a crazy development it is for him. They probably sold this to Wall Street. You better believe they did. As future-proofing 100x opportunity. And now they have to explain why the opportunity went away. Another person says the next earnings call is going to be a trip. Says he can't just put the blame on Bob Iger. Gently, I guess he can say this was his predecessor's questionable decision. Another Hollywood insider says it's a lot for a new CEO to deal with it. But it's true, he wasn't the man in charge when the deal was done. And at least he does get out of something that was unpopular in Hollywood. They will presumably get their $1 billion investment back, even if now it can't earn that supposed multiple and all that Valley-style growth they were eyeing. Julie Sankey said, I think it's clear how much Disney was annoyed by this. They put out a statement saying we respect OpenAI's decision. The question is whether it's just a screw you to OpenAI or screw you to meme slop generally. No, folks. This is them trying to say nice things because they have to find a partner. And if they're too harsh, the partner may say, no, we don't do business with you either. The mistake that was made here, and anybody on the panel can weigh in on this one, just hop in with whatever you want to say. The mistake that was made here, one, was making an enemy out of Elon Musk, because now there's only two horses in town that they can ride on. And they have to ride because the whole Disney Plus strategy depends on content creators now making AI stuff. If that doesn't happen, the whole thing they've worked on that they've invested in is gone. Mistake number one, they made an enemy out of Elon Musk, and he's the lead horse when it comes to all of this now.
Yeah.
Problem number two, if they go to Google, if they go and they say, please, we need to get Gemini into Disney Plus, and we need to have our Disney characters licensed. Google stuff can generate Disney characters, whatever. If they do that, they have no leverage because Google is 30 times larger than the Disney company. They're in a bad place here. Panel, what do you think about that?
Bad.
I mean, they're in a really bad place because it's a rapidly transforming market, and who knows whether or not Disney content being created by the actual studio itself will be as relevant in 5-10 years once these tools really make it to mass market and make it out to people who can actually create content for themselves, perhaps even using Disney's IP or any other number of IP available to them. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how that actually takes place. And also too, you got a very much a changing theatrical circuit, right? Who actually knows what the future of theatrical is for the Walt Disney Company or even for Hollywood itself. You've got just a plethora of things happening in the backdrop of all this OpenAI stuff. You remember there were some articles, I think earlier this year, talking about how, Jensen Huang of NVIDIA was criticizing Sam Altman and how he was actually running the business. Remember, there was $100 billion that NVIDIA was looking to invest into OpenAI. And then later on, they say, whoa, wait a minute, hang on a second. We never said we were going to give them $100 billion all at once. And then that sent the stocks tumbling for various companies, not even just NVIDIA and OpenAI. So Sam Altman, I think, has been criticized with how this company has been run and how much cash they're actually burning through. I believe they are projected to be at a $14 billion deficit by the end of this year. And some people are actually saying, hey, will they even be in business at all? So you've just got a lot of stuff going on in the backdrop behind the scenes dealing with OpenAI and some of their partners. And then you've got a very transformative industry taking place, in the front burner for Disney. So I don't really know. See, this was my big problem with Josh D'Amaro. You had to ask him, where do you believe the company will sit within this very transformative marketplace in 10 years? I don't know if the board maybe researched that to the extent they should have. Go ahead, Culture.
No, I agree with you.
They bet on MySpace as Facebook came out. This is what this is. They bet on they bet on what was hot, not on what was going to be taking off, right? Mm-hmm. So they should have been with Gemini, or they should have been with Grok, or they could have partnered maybe with, Meta. even though Meta's not impressive right now, if Disney combined with them, maybe they could have got something. But ChatGPT is in collapse, and they bet it's just another horrible bet by Bob.
Well, how did this happen? I always have to ask this question. How did you look at a company that was so, unstable to begin with? Because OpenAI was originally founded. I'm sorry, MJ.
No, took it. I'm so glad you're asking this question because that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, they were in such a bad place to begin with, and they struggled to try to go from being a nonprofit to a for-profit corporation. They're at odds with Elon Musk directly, and there's a court case working its way through, and there's all these other problems. So how did we get here?
Because Sora released, and it was flashy, and it was something that Disney, they had an app, and Disney they chased what was shiny. And they didn't think about, wait a minute, this is a company that doesn't run its own data centers. It doesn't have its own proprietary infrastructure, whereas Elon does, whereas Google does. Google is training its stuff on everything on YouTube. And Grok is training everything on X.
Yeah.
And here's OpenAI. They came in, but they were a flash in the pan. Now, I don't think ChatGPT is going to go away, but I think Sam Altman is in deep doo-doo, and I wouldn't be surprised if he, is removed as CEO down the road. No predictions here on that, but it wouldn't surprise me. But Disney chased the shiny.
Dropping $1 billion in December we're just in March, shy of going into April. I don't think I've ever heard of such a drastic investment going downhill so quickly. It usually takes years for something to tank. We're talking about just a few months. I'm still trying to, and what it's like you said, okay, they chased something shiny and new, but what did Sora have on their resume that made them really like, oh yeah, let's go with this company? I can't process.
They were the hot product at the time. They were the hot thing at the time, and now obviously that dynamic has changed once again. That's what you're saying, MJ, is exactly right. That's how fast this is all moving. I think Bob Iger believed not only was the shiny new thing, but that he could ride the dragon and hopefully it wouldn't actually consume them in the process, right? But I think that's a fundamental misunderstanding of how AI works, especially when those tools are provided to people of all different types, right? Partnering with OpenAI wasn't going to save you, and they were looking at a content production problem in which they couldn't spend the money necessary in order to get Disney Plus the content that it needed. So it kind of handled all three of those things at once.
Bash, let's explain that real quick. Disney wants to turn Disney Plus into TikTok on mobile.
Right.
They want TikTok. They want to swipe through vertical videos, and they want to use some of their stuff, but they don't have enough stuff in the vertical form.
Right.
So they wanted users to create that using Sora, and then they would have trending stuff because you'd have Elsa saying she'd be dabbing or she'd be doing something that's saying something that's clever and could trend. That's not in a movie.
And the demand was so short, which is why the company just flunked, because nobody was putting it on their phones, I guess, the app. Well, so Sora and TikTok were going head to head. Is that what I'm understanding?
No. So Sora would have liked to have gone head to head with TikTok. The problem for Sora was that they can't keep up with Grok.
Grok, okay.
Water.
Grok is amazing.
Grok came in. I mean, I don't want to get into the technicalities of this, but Grok is just destroying Sora. I mean, totally. And so it was over. Yeah. So Erika, let me take that in this direction to you. How dumb was it of Bob and Disney to make an enemy of Elon? Because now, I mean, they're enemies with one of the top AI guys, and their AI partner just went down. There's no way Josh tomorrow can go crawling to Elon and say, save us.
But it's the most.
You wait your turn. It's Erika's turn now. I'm sorry.
But I mean, that's kind of been the pattern. I'm over here listening to everybody, and all I can think is, here we go again with Disney. Making decisions based off of their political biases, and it's to their detriment. So you know what? I don't feel sorry for them. Let them hang themselves.
Yeah, culture. You feel sorry for them?
I don't feel bad at all. I think they alienated the smartest man on the planet, and maybe he's not the smartest man, but he's smart enough to go out and hire the smartest people on the planet, which is what he did. He caused a brain drain across multiple industries just by employing them and putting them to work for him. And so he took the most economical approach to building his own model sets, because he created this thing called Grokopedia to replace Wikipedia. He's going to replace good data sets, instead of relying on bad data sets like Reddit and Wikipedia and other places that are full of, well, false information. And so Grokopedia is going to be, the one of the data sets that it's going to be able to pull from going forward. So you've removed the cost prohibited nature of partnering with somebody like Oracle for their massive data sets. They have data sets nobody else has. When it comes to developing medical stuff and everything else going forward, that's the logical person to work with. They're Argenta, whatever their AI agent employing services. Argentic, that's what.
Argentic, yeah, that's talking about the agentic, is what you're talking about culture. And, the leaders right now, Anthropic, but Anthropic is not doing anything with video gen, really. You've got Gemini, you've got Grok. That's the three that are in the lead right now. ChatGPT, they want to be in the lead, but in terms of the rollout of 5.4 has not rocked the world, and everybody's looking at Grok and knows that Grok 5 comes out probably next month, and that turns on the agentic stuff that Grok's going to do, and it's got the power of the Colossus supercomputer. So then you've got the Chinese companies.
Ladies and gentlemen, wasn't Mr. Iger supposed to be seated for a lot longer? He bounced pretty early. And do you think he smelled the festering of that bad decision and just dipped out early, like, okay, I'm out? And then just like, here you go tomorrow. This is your problem now.
All I can tell you is it took, maybe 9 days for everything to collapse. That's 9 days. And it's not because Josh D'Amaro came in and suddenly things went haywire. It's because the deals Bob cut, the deals that Bob made, suddenly went away.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.